Why would anybody care about what Tim thinks?
No, because he just has that dad look. He just looks like a dad. You look like a punk mother.
Listen.
Just look at you.
I chew my gum like that guy from Top Gun.
Oh my gosh.
Maverick over here.
No, that's Tom Cruise.
No, Iceman.
Like Iceman.
Ah, okay, sure.
You know, it totally makes sense that of all the Top Gun characters, Derek most emulates. It's the absolute a-hole from that movie.
Yep.
Oh yeah, baby.
The D-bag.
Back when Val Kilmer was cool, remember those days? Anybody?
Dude, Val Kilmer was a hottie like me. Now he's not.
Val Kilmer was the man. If you watch
tense,
stuff like Ghost in the Darkness or The Saint, he was in some good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was also Batman.
And he was briefly Batman, which was not a good version of Batman.
He was in Heat.
Heat was an amazing movie.
Yeah.
And he was, of course, the best and one of the best Westerns ever as Doc Holliday.
Yep.
Dude, sure. Val Kilmer had some moments there.
Rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Who is your daddy? I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?
All right, so before we start the show, because here's the thing, I care about our fans. I've always cared about our fans. I really do.
What are you about to say right now?
So because I care so much about our fans,
Jesus.
I really think we should talk about soccer and not video games. And we should probably talk about politics.
First of all, I'm offended. All right, it's not soccer; it's football. All right, stupid
First
American.
of all, the fact that you even started with offended shows how weak you are. That's why you're not white. If you're white, you wouldn't be offended.
You Americans and your butchering of my sports.
God,
all right?
you don't even care. About
Okay, but seriously, the gum chomping is going to have to stop, or I'm hanging up on you.
I told you this is why I got Daniel on the show.
He needs
I'm
a pop
making my
filter.
exit.
Let's
No,
buy him
I'm going to throw it away now. I just wanted to be a douchebag.
Are you talking about your face?
It worked, man. Yeah, mission accomplished.
All right, let me go. Let me go throw my gum away. All right.
Can you throw your face away also? Because it's trash. Your trashy face. No problem, bro.
In fact, I'm not even gonna get up. I'm just gonna put it in my water cap.
That's such a d-bag thing to do. That's a very Val Kilmer thing to do.
That's what got Val Kilmer fired from his last job, and he hasn't worked
Now
since.
I'm back to being white nerd guy. Hey, how you doing?
Daniel, I tried your haunted house level in Mario Maker, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, I welcomed you to my trick, and you failed. So.
Yeah, I absolutely failed.
Yeah, it's hard.
At one point, I told myself, even if I figure this out, I'm not going to be happy about it. So I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's not really worth that. You know, it's not worth it or anything. You know, it's not like you're going to gain anything from beating it.
Some people had, I guess, their car broke down on the major intersection right around the corner from my house, and so they parked their car right in front of our house for the last 5 days, and they're finally moving it.
Oh, cool. That's not creepy at all.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they did put a little name and phone number in there and said car broke down.
Still creepy.
Okay.
I don't trust anyone.
So I called him, and he did not speak very good English, but he was very nice, and he said he'll come. I said I need it gone by Monday because that's when my wife gets back. So I am solo parenting right now. My wife and our daughter are out on the East Coast at the beach with her family. I just got back 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago from a trip to see my family. We can't afford all of us to take all these trips. We kind of had to pick and choose.
Sure.
Who goes where. And then my oldest two sons are with their grandmother out east as well. So we're all kind of in different locations. So it's just me. And then I got 2 8-year-olds, our twins, and then our 1-year-old little guy. So I am single parenting right now. But that means I've got a chance to play some video games, which is good.
So cool.
So as we kick into episode 171 here, just wanted to say I just today bought Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and I do want to talk about it in a little bit after we go over other stuff we're playing, but the quick word on it, I just bought it today and played several hours by myself and with my sons. Quick word on it is it's a lot of fun. I'll just say that right now, and then we'll get into it a little bit more a little bit later, but I'm having a lot of fun with that one. But it's cool to be able to play more video games. I'm playing more with them. I let them show me around their Minecraft world, which I don't like Minecraft. I don't find it appealing. I'm not find building in that world that fun. But that being said, letting your kids show you around is kind of fun. See the stuff they built. So I liked that part of it. But It's not really my thing otherwise. But
did you ever try Dragon Quest Builders? Or
just the demo, and we really liked it a lot, but I never bought the full game.
Yeah.
I've heard 2 improves a lot of stuff like inventory management and the fact that you can keep a consistent town that you've built. It doesn't reset with every new chapter, which I've heard was a big gripe from the first one. So that one looks fun. My son and I both tried the demo and liked it, but never did bite the bullet on it.
It just gives that formula purpose. Cause I mean, I've played Minecraft and I'm like, this is cool, but like one, it looks ugly as hell.
Yeah.
And there's just no purpose. You're just building. Like,
well, Dragon Quest Builders, at least that one looks pretty good. It's got it's got a charming art style. It's got the Dragon Quest art style kind of.
Yeah.
So
and it has a story, and you can build a town, and there's people in the town that actually have roles, and there's things going on. So I don't know. Kids are weird.
Kids are weird. They also like Fortnite way too much. So
and flossing. They like to floss.
My oldest son has a Switch now, and he's out at his grandmother's, and she does have Wi-Fi. So every once in a while, he'll log on and invite me to play Fortnite, and I'm like, "You don't know me at all. You don't even, not even a little bit." No. Anyway, all right, Derek, what are you playing, man?
Games sometimes. I play Rocket League a lot still. So I know my brother likes when we talk about Rocket League, so we can do that for like the next 30 minutes.
Car soccer and then women's soccer.
Perfect. No, I actually bought Ultimate Alliance, and I played it today. I pre-ordered it. I got it for $45, so I was super excited about that.
Nice.
It came in today, and so I played. I guess your opening area where you unlock a lot of the superheroes. Like I got to that point where they're like, "Hey, you have unlocked this guy. He's joined your team." And then I played just a little bit after that. But I got to say, I really like it. Like, it's probably perfect for me right now because I've said 1,000 times that I like games that I don't have to think. And this one is one of those where there's no thinking. Like, you just, like, I mean, you got to be aware of what's going on, but it's not, it's not overly complicated.
I mean, I even think a game like Diablo is kind of that way. It's not overly complicated. Sorry, my cat's walking around a table.
It's like, what the hell's going on?
Oh,
that's a cute cat.
Yeah, she's a nice cat, but she's very curious about what I'm doing right now. But actually, let's dig into that one a little bit more here in a few minutes because I do want that to be kind of the main thing we talk about. I didn't know you bought it, Derek, so that's cool. I do want to talk a little more about it. Daniel, is that a game based on what you've seen and heard, Ultimate Alliance 3? Are you going to spring for that, or you got to save your pennies for something else?
I'm gonna save my doubloons. I would not mind playing it. It definitely would be something that the wife and I could play because we try to find co-op games that are easy to play, fun. It like Derek said, not a lot of thinking, so that would work for her because she does kind of just like, if we're gonna play that sort of game, that there isn't really any puzzle aspects.
Yeah, just let me zone out and just play a game. Right,
yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah, but not for $60 right now. I think I'll wait a little bit. Maybe.
I just said I paid $45. Do you not listen?
He does not.
Well, when you speak, no, except for that one thing I just mentioned a second ago.
Okay,
that you said. I heard a word or two, so I'll give you that.
All right, good.
What was that? Amazon Prime or?
No, it was like it's not like a shady site, but it's one of the smaller sites that runs like promotions every once in a while, and they were basically like, if you sign up for our site, which is free, you just like register. You can get this power deal, and it's $45. I was like, all right, I'll do it.
And now Russia has all of your information. So
yes, they do.
Well, they can use my vote for Trump. Trump 2020.
They're just saving him a trip down to the polling booth. That's exactly who you would vote for. That's all they're doing.
You're the worst.
Yeah,
you're the worst.
You know, this is an interesting one because I was on the fence whether or not to spend full price on it, but then I just figured, you know what? I'm going to do their voucher program. So I just bought 2 more vouchers from Nintendo. And so I spent $50 on it. Still pretty good deal to have it digitally. And then I'm going to use the other one as soon as it goes. I almost got Astral Chain, but then I thought, you know what? As excited as I am for that, what if that's a bomb? I kind of want to wait for final impressions or first reviews before I drop 60 because I feel like Astral Chain, although it is a Nintendo exclusive, that's one that's ripe for a steep discount around holiday time. If for some reason Astral Chain is more of a 6 out of 10 and reviewers aren't loving it, maybe I wait until it's really cheap. So So I might grab Link's Awakening once that goes up for pre-order with the voucher, because that one I am excited about too. But I like their voucher program. It's not a bad idea if you want to get digital games. Although this would have been one that I would have gotten physically if I could have, because I feel like it's one that my son would want to borrow on his Switch. But whatever. What can you do? I wanted to save some money.
So what's that program again for
the vouchers?
listeners?
If you have Nintendo Switch Online, you can just go in at any point and just buy 2 vouchers for $100.
Oh, okay. So you're getting like $20 off essentially.
Yep. You get 2 brand new games for $50 each, and it only applies to certain games. So you can look through their list of games that the vouchers can be redeemed for, and it goes back quite a ways, all the way like to Mario Kart 8 and Odyssey and Zelda and all that. It's almost like the Essentials collection from Nintendo, basically, for the voucher program. So, and Dragon Quest Builders 2 was on there. I almost grabbed that, but then again, I thought, as good as that's reviewing and as much as I'm interested in it, I think that'll go on sale. So,
Sure.
I don't know. Third-party games will typically go on sale. Square likes to run sales on their stuff. So,
Can I ask y'all a question? Is this has either one of you played, since we're talking about Switch, The World's End with You Final Remix?
no.
No, that was originally a DS game, and then they re-released it. But I never played it. No,
I want to
has
though.
it had a cool aesthetic. I've a lot of people like it. It's kind of like one of those cult classic type of things where it's like a small group of people who like really, really love it. But
Yeah, but my problem with it, because I never tried it, and I do want to try it, but I feel like the same group of people
$20 at GameStop.
who loved that also loved Elite Beat Agents, and I never loved that game. I thought it was
What is Elite Beat Agent?
it was like it's supposed to be this really clever rhythm game on the DS where you like tap the screen in a certain order, whatever else, and I hated it. I turned it in like right away.
I think World Ends With You is more of an action RPG, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it's more of an action RPG, but I don't know.
All right. What'd you say, Derek? It's how much?
It's brand new. It's $20 at GameStop. They're doing like that sell where like the Division 2 and Darksiders 3 and all those are like brand new, $20. Well, this is one of the games.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's really an action game. Like I'm watching like a little video of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you are.
Isn't it
moving,
like a rhythm based
Like-
combat?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean,
not gonna buy it.
it's dialogue heavy, and that immediately would be a no for Derek. So
Yeah, if they're gonna talk, I don't want to.
that's what he says to his wife.
Yeah. If you're gonna talk, I don't think. Oh, look at that Game Days summer sale they have going on right now.
Well, it ends today.
Oh yeah, today's the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So then there's some really good deals. Like I said, I almost bought the Division 2 for the PlayStation 4 because I knew a lot of people were playing the Division 2 on that, and I was like wanting to co-op with people. But
Oh,
I
that's
think
cool. They
everybody-
give you the Starlink starter pack with the actual like device. Comes free if you buy a Switch.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna have to grab this before the night is over. I probably will grab that one. Oh, $20 for Mario plus Rabbids.
Nice.
There's really good deals.
Those are some really good deals. All right, cool. So other
You're
than
welcome.
that, though, Derek, I know you kind of I wasn't expecting that you were going to play Marvel. Is there anything else that you're playing these days, or are you just trying to make your body look as good as possible?
I'm still working on my body. No,
So-
really, it's Rocket League. I thought there was like something else. I did start Darksiders 3 back up on PC. I bought that when it launched. I got it for like $30 on CD Keys or something for PC. So I was trying to see if I would play it more on Xbox. So I almost bought it on the Game Day sale, but I don't know if I'm going to buy it. But I'll probably jump back into that. I don't know. I'm not on my PC enough, and that's why I didn't play Rage 2 enough. And so that's why you'll see me. I'll buy these games on discount, and sometimes I'll play them on PC. Like I beat Resident Evil 2 on PC. I beat both the Assassin's Creed games on PC. But some of these smaller titles I'm not as hyped for. I'll buy them because I'm like, oh, that's a good deal. And then I'll play like 3 hours, and I'm like, I'm not going back to my PC.
Gotcha.
Like my Xbox is more comfortable. So normally when I come home and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll game. It honestly is Rocket League, not to drive people nuts. That's all I do. I just play Rocket League until I'm tired and I go to bed.
That is your Candy Crush. I gotcha.
Yeah, and I finally set up my Switch. So I have a little area for my Switch. I got it on my little 1080p monitor that I love. Like it's so crystal clear and beautiful. It makes every Switch game look good. So I've got Ultimate Alliance I'm playing. I think I'm saying think because I have no idea. I anymore with me. I think I'm going to play that. I would love to play it through the end because I actually think it's really cool. I like the characters. And then I played a little bit of Mario Maker 2. I enjoy that. I think that's a cool game. I'm going to play through the story mode or, play as much as I want.
Pretty creative little levels there, right, that they've put together?
Mm-hmm.
They've done a good job with that.
And then I have a Super Mario World U Deluxe, I think it is, that I started up before I got Mario Maker 2. So I've got a lot of stuff on the Switch that I'm kind of casually playing every once in a while. But really, it's Rocket League, and I do think it will be Ultimate Alliance. I wish I would go back to Judgment. I like that game. The problem is I never turned my PS4 on, so I never even think about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because I'll sit there and think, all right, maybe I'll play a video game. What do I want to play? And I have to think. And that's why I think I go to Rocket League, because I'm like, I'm not really playing anything. So I just play Rocket League, and I forget if I turn on my PS4, I would see Judgment and be like, oh, I can play Judgment.
Yeah, man, my PS4 is gathering more dust than any of my other consoles by far.
You guys disgust me. I don't even know why I'm here.
Dude,
I know.
I don't know why I'm here.
The reception of adding Daniel to the show was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was everything I thought it would be.
Jesse White was furious that we would allow a Sony phone on our
Well, I think we also feel the shift of I prefer all my third-party stuff on Xbox now. Of course, it's on the X, so it plays a lot better. But also, I'm finding better deals. I like game sharing on there. I'm enjoying Game Pass on there. I like the controller better. There's just I get it.
You guys have bad opinions. I don't
find a lot of reason to fire up the PS4 that much anymore. I did play a little VR, play a little Beat Saber this week. That's a pretty fun VR game. But otherwise,
PS4
not really
dead to us. So you don't have to worry about this being a Sony podcast because, well, we hate PlayStation.
Yeah, you can.
And yes, Tim, just say you hate it, even though I know you don't really hate it. Just say you hate it.
Yeah, they can just look forward to a bad opinion podcast. That's fine.
Listen, in 2019, Sony's done really nothing for me in 2019.
They really haven't. I mean, Judgment, I really do think Judgment's a quality game. But
all right, to be fair, I haven't played that one. I haven't. Yeah. All right. To be fair,
it's not Uncharted 5 or something. It's not something you get super hyped about. It's just a good game that I want to say it's more niche. Like, if you're not into those style games, that's why there wasn't a lot of hype. Like, people aren't drawn to that. I think it's quality, but you can play the first 10 minutes. I think Tim, as somebody who hasn't really played any Yakuza games at all, I think in the first 10 minutes you'd be like, okay, this isn't at the level of AAA from Sony that I would expect, because it's not really a Sony first party type game. It's more of another company that just releases them on the PlayStation. So it's good. But it's not top tier is what I'm trying to say.
It's same developer, right?
Yeah.
As the Yakuza game?
It's not top tier, but it's still quality. Am I making sense? You're not getting Uncharted 4 quality. You're not gonna boot up Judgment and be like, dude, the story, the graphics, the acting, the gameplay, everything is top tier. No, it's not. It's middle tier, maybe a little above middle tier, and it's good. It's worth the money. It's just not something I think the people outside of guys like us who play games and pay attention to gaming websites and stuff are going to pay attention to them. It's something that would get looked over.
That's fair. Well, Daniel, you're a Sony guy. You've been playing Judgment at all? Have you tried that one?
I've actually not played any of the Yakuza games.
Yeah, me neither.
But mainly just because every time I hear anything about them, that sounds really cool, but I hear they're incredibly time consuming.
They are.
And as far as what is it? Yakuza 6 was the last one, so that's 6 Yakuza games.
Well, really more because you have Yakuza 0. So
right, so there's the prequel, so that's 7.
It's like catching up on a TV series that is good and you would probably like, but you're like, that's a commitment. I don't know if I'm ready for
even
it.
Now
that's what Tim and I talked about 2 weeks ago. So the week before Daniel joined our show. And I said, Tim, I think you'll like this game. This is a good one for you to start on because it's set in the Yakuza universe, but it's not the main character from Yakuza. It has nothing to do as far as the Yakuza main story goes. So you're not jumping in and going, well, I'm confused, or what has happened already. You don't need to care about that. It's just in the universe. You'll recognize the city you're in and all the atmosphere and all that, and the combat feels familiar, but you're getting a brand new story with brand new characters outside of what Yakuza was. And that's why I was like, okay, I like the Yakuza games. I would prefer to start with Judgment, though, because I'm already way behind on the
But you haven't kept playing it. Just telling.
No, yeah. But I don't think that's not a knock on the game. That's a knock on cool guy.
Yeah, sure. Cool guy.
For anyone who's just listening, which is most of you, Derek just gave himself a pat on his own chest and called himself cool guy. So that's what just happened.
New levels of conceit.
Understand that I'm embracing this douchebagness. Like, okay, like Friday, I went out in public and with my family, and I was dressed what some might say a little tight. And my wife was like, she's like, Derek, your shorts are too tight. Your shirt's too tight. Like, you're just too tight.
You're in a database somewhere, right? I mean, you're basically exposing yourself to kids. Like,
gross, man.
You're in a database.
You've got a little pin on your map location right now as a sexual predator in your neighborhood.
This is every day. Like, I'm not even making this up to be funny. Like, every day. Like,
Derek thinks it's assault with a deadly weapon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I am the So I'm standing in front of my dad, and we're having a conversation. My wife's there.
What does he think of all this?
Well, that's what he just looks at me. And he looks at me like this. And my dad's like, this old red. He's like, How come your clothes are getting so tight? I'm like, I just ignored him. I just looked at him. I was like,
I'm ashamed to call you my son.
He's like, your clothes are getting too tight.
You're out of the will.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna listen to this again because I hear it all day at work. All day at work, I get made fun of. Some girl told me my legs look like, those like kielbasa sausage packages.
Oh my gosh. Dude, how does this not bother you? How does this not make you change?
Well, because he probably just turned that around into innuendo, right?
Oh my gosh. He's like, I'm sorry, did you say sausage? Oh.
I just laughed. She's like, because here's your thighs, and then like your calves, they're too big. Like, I'm not gonna show them off because then people are gonna.
No, please don't.
But like, I have huge calves, so she's like, your calves. So it looks like two sausages combined in a tight package. Like you're just getting squeezed to death. So I get made fun of a lot, but I don't care. I like how I look, and I think it's comfortable.
It's a weird combination of caring too much and not caring at all. That's what it is.
I mean, you want me to find the middle.
Are you comfortable?
I do. I want you to find the middle.
I will say this. There is a pair of pants I have that are too tight, and I looked at this one girl, and I go, dead serious. I was like, I feel like I have cancer in my balls. They hurt so bad right now. She just started laughing. I was like, my pants are destroying my balls right now.
Usually that happens to people when they start gaining weight, but you're actually buying clothes too small for you on purpose.
He's trying to motivate himself, right? He's buying it too small so he can stare at it and be like, I will fit into those, barely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, speaking of AA games, like mediocre type games, but that might be pretty good. Like Judgment sounds like it's a pretty good game, even though it's not, like you're saying, up to AAA quality. There's one coming out in September that isn't being talked about a ton, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it. I saw that Derek was talking about it, and that's Greedfall. What do you guys think about this game, Greedfall? Do you have any hype for it whatsoever?
I'm excited. I think. Look, I'll talk first because I know about this game probably more than anybody else here. It's made by Spider. I think that's the name of the developer, Spider.
Yeah, it's being published by Focus Interactive, and they've kind of filled that gap of the AA publisher. That's disappeared.
And that's the thing that I want to talk about. Like anybody that's never seen anything by Spider or Focus Entertainment or whatever, Focus Home Entertainment, these guys are not AAA. These are smaller studios, smaller publisher, smaller developer that try to make AAA experiences, and they always fall a little short. For some people,
Homefront was a big one, I think.
You could say for some people they fall way short, and I think that's for people that buy their games and go, "Oh, this is supposed to be like The Witcher." Like some people were expecting, they're like, "I'm getting a Witcher vibe." I'm like, please do not go into this game expecting Bloodborne, Dark Souls, or The Witcher level quality. You're going to get, I think, with Spider Entertainment or whatever they're called, they gradually keep getting better. Like I've enjoyed a lot of their games. What's the one that came? Now this came out like it was the first RPG that came out on the PS4 and Xbox One, and it was Bound by Flames. And a lot of people hate that game because it's lower quality, but it was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed my time with it. I beat the game. It had a really, really hard, bad end boss, but it was actually a pretty good game if you gave it time, which I did because it was the first RPG to come out. And then they released another one, I'm forgetting the name of it, Technomancer.
Okay.
That is actually a good game. They improved over Bound by Flames. It's a different universe, different style of game, but they improved. Their problem is they don't get the best actors, they don't have the best presentation, and that's kind of what kills their games. But as far as combat and worlds, and even somewhat the graphics, they're really good at this. And so if you go and watch Greedfall, the combat looks really good. The world looks super cool. The only thing I'm worried about is can they create a story with characters that you care about? And that comes from better voice acting and better writing. I don't know, because this is a smaller developer and a smaller publisher. So I think the point I'm trying to make, and if you go check the prices, it retails at $50. So they're already telling you, guys, don't go into this expecting a $60 AAA game. Okay, we're lowering our prices. We used to charge $60 for ours. Greedfall is going to be $50. So I think they're going into it going, lower your expectations, and if anybody's interested in the combat and the world, I don't think you'll be let down. But if you're going into it going, maybe this will be The Witcher 3, then don't buy the game. Don't buy the game, because it's not going to be at that level.
Does this kind of stuff interest you, Daniel? The kind of like the lower tier, not quite AAA, like.
So there's a saying for games like that. It's called swimming in sevens. So
Yeah,
they're not bad. They're not good. They're in that 7 spot that it's like, you know, that's okay. I had fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally didn't even know about this game until Derek actually mentioned it, and then randomly Facebook like popped up with a trailer because that's what the internet does. It's like, oh, are you
now? They have you.
Yeah. But I did check a trailer. I think it was the gameplay. There was like they were like on a dock, and then this like creature with antlers came out.
Yeah.
So it showed some of the combat. It looked okay. Like it looked okay. I wasn't like super impressed, but I wasn't like this looks bad because it visually looks nice. But the combat seemed kind of, I don't know, like it looked like it was trying to almost be Souls, but then it stopped and like a menu came up. So it's like, is this an action RPG where you can actually pause time and do things? Like I wasn't quite sure what it was trying
There's
to do.
going to be aspects of the Souls in Bloodborne type game.
But
combat.
movement wise, it looked like that.
Yes, but I know from their past work, they want you to have like that BioWare experience as far as RPG goes. So that even with the combat, they're not going to make it that difficult, and they're going to have give you the ability to go into menus and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. So I mean,
special moves.
Yeah, it visually looked actually pretty cool. But yeah, I had not literally heard about it at all until Derek mentioned it, and then Facebook invaded my privacy and tried to show me.
I think it's a game that I'll probably get. I'll probably end up getting it day one because I'm very interested in it. Like I said, I liked their last 2 games. I thought Bound by Flames, I saw the flaws. I'm not an idiot, but it was still a quality 6-7 game. And then I think they improved on Technomancer. Combat-wise, and I think this one they're opening it up even more. Plus, I like the setting. I like that they're in this made-up island, so it's not a real world. It's a made-up universe. It's a made-up island, and so they've got this almost like your Assassin's Creed 3 vibe going on here with aesthetics and how everything looks, the world and the characters and how they're dressed and everything. Yeah. And even if you just look at the beginning of the combat, a lot of them are swinging swords, and then they got a gun. So it looks like Assassin's Creed 3. But there's magic. It's almost more Fable-esque. Like it's got that Fable vibe where it's got the swords and your gun, but you also have magic. So they wanted to create this fake universe, so they weren't tied to reality. They wanted to expand and have everything. They want magic, guns, swords, all that stuff. So the combat looks really cool, and I like the setting. I like the aesthetics that they're using for this world and for the characters and for the weapons. So that's why I'm actually probably more hyped for this game than any of their other ones.
It makes sense. I mean, a lot of times when you get a 7, which, by the way, doesn't mean it's a 7 for everybody. There's plenty of games that are 7s that I've loved, that I'm like, I don't know why everyone hates this. I had a blast. It could be the setting, could be just a certain element of the gameplay for whatever reason you just really dig. So I think that's the beauty of a game like that, is that not only can you probably get it for cheap, for the most part, you'll always be able to get it for cheap, but it might just be that, have that perfect hook just for you. So I don't mind those kind of games. I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
It's just coming out at a weird time. We've got Gears of War 5 and Borderlands 3 both dropping, I think, within days of when that one comes out. So that'll be interesting to see how it does kind of mixed in. Maybe that's the perfect time to drop it, isn't it? Right in the middle of 2 other games that are very different than it. So
it's hard to figure out a good time window for these games nowadays.
It is.
Well, we say that, but I still think the beginning of the year and summer are still open, and I don't understand. Like, I'll give an example. I talked about it earlier. I don't understand why Darksiders 3 released in November. I felt like nobody gave a crap about that game when a good amount of people enjoyed Darksiders and Darksiders 2. No, I'm not saying that they're AAA amazing experiences. They kind of fall in that 6-7 range for most people. But I don't understand why you would release a game like that in the season of November when you could have just waited 2 months and been like, January 15th we're going to release or something like that.
They probably had some kind of deadline or something, because it seemed weird that they didn't. February was a pretty wide open month, things like that.
Saying, like, even if you have like your little business models where you like, I have to release this by this time, that's where you got to sit down with a bunch of suits and say, yeah, we can do that, but you're basically encouraging us to fail.
Well,
like, you just got to have smarter people in the business.
So it's TH Nordic now, right? Like, it's a company that bought the properties, and then they created like this entity that is again TH Nordic, because it used to be that, or it was just THQ. Was it THQ?
Yeah.
And then that went away, and then the properties got sold, and then this company that bought all those properties created THQ Nordic. And I think they have so many games in the pipeline. I've heard like that they had like at some point like 40 games being made, which is insane. Like, this one company was making 40 games. So I think they just like maybe are like, whatever, just push it out and put it in November, and that's around Christmas time, and it'll just sell what it sells. And they just figured they're going to make money overall, including the other games. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right. I think that's what happened.
I don't think it was confidence of like, this is going to sell like Call of Duty numbers. Like, no, obviously not. But
yeah,
maybe it's a quantity over quality thing. I don't know.
Now, speaking of Darksiders, the Genesis game looks pretty interesting. Darksiders Genesis.
Yeah,
looks pretty cool. That Diablo style.
Diablo. Yeah,
looks pretty cool. Daniel, anything else that you're playing that we haven't talked about?
No, pretty much the same as last week.
You're still making those Mario Maker levels?
I'm actually staring right now at the new one that I'm making. I'm in the middle of.
Okay. And so do you use controller on the big screen to make stuff?
Yeah. I'm still using the Joy-Cons. I think it works pretty well.
Yeah.
So I have no issues there. This one's going to be more of a themed stage, so it's going to be a little less easier for you, Timothy. So I think you won't struggle. So,
Good. Yeah. Good. Stop making things difficult for me, okay? I'm getting older.
I'm sorry. I like to make you all feel bad about yourselves. I'm very sorry.
It's fine. I finally made my second level. My kids keep making levels, but they can't post them. So I keep telling them, hey, make them on my account. That way, if we like it, we can post it, but they don't listen to me. No one listens.
But you made the one that I just played, right? The new one, the second one?
The Hard Hats one, yeah.
Yeah, that was very good.
I'm using my little stylus
in
handheld mode to do that. It's pretty fun.
Not that your first stage was bad, but the jump between that one to this one, it was pretty substantial. You did a good job with that one. So.
It's pretty fun to play levels other people have made or the story mode ones that Nintendo makes and start just grabbing little ideas here and there, just some creative ways to use. There's so many tools at your disposal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Derek, you said you've even been playing it a little bit. And the fact that Derek's not saying it's complete garbage, it should tell everyone listening it's a great game.
I keep telling him to play my stages. He's being a jerk. Look at his jerk face. Just look at it. Stupid jerk face.
And he's not even chomping gum, but he still has that same vibe, you know?
It's just stuck in jerk.
Still has that same vibe.
Yeah.
And you guys wonder why I dress the way I dress. You guys encourage me to be a douchebag.
That's true. We do a little bit.
I mean, do we?
You really do.
Don't put that on us.
I have to.
He's getting in our heads. He's getting in our heads.
Don't put that on us. Man, my cat will not stay off the table. Uh-oh.
How about you put some pants on? This is live on YouTube, bro.
This ain't YouTube after hours, all right? Or after dark or whatever.
That's my trash song. That's the one I don't like.
It's interesting. I could have sworn that he was wearing a shirt when he started, and then I look over there and he was not wearing a shirt while watching. I wasn't sure what was happening.
There's some lag going on.
Look at that. Look at that, boy.
Yeah.
Show it off, boy.
He's not. What's going on here?
That's a
What
lie.
kind of sorcery is going on? Wasn't he just wearing the shirt again? I'm very confused.
Ian was walking by. Elijah, show your abs, bro. You don't want to show them.
It's all right. We can see him from here. It's fine.
Yes.
In
all his glory.
Elijah is my twin, so
yeah.
He wears the same outfits as me.
Well,
he wears the tight clothes.
Yeah.
Ian, can you stop talking? Or breathing.
Oh.
Yeah,
the poor little Teagues. There's just no hope for them. There's just no
By
hope.
the way, that's our new segment called Parenting Tips. And Derek just gave you a great one, which is just to yell from another room to stop talking. It's a great method.
Or breathing.
And
Just
then also, under your breath, you could also mention, don't be alive anymore. That's fine too.
It doesn't even just fall into parenting. You can do that at anybody, really.
Guys, you don't have to worry about abusing your kids.
Could be with a spouse, could be with maybe a parent or a sibling who you've grown apart. You're like, you know what? Why don't you just stop talking? Right?
Yep. Just shout at them from afar.
Great family relationship advice. That's what we're here for. That's why we do what we do. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Ultimate Alliance 3, but before we do that, Daniel reminded me that they did show some Marvel Avengers. I guess there was some more footage that came out.
It was leaked footage.
Okay.
Yeah, it leaked.
And did it look good?
It didn't look. I wouldn't call it a swimming in sevens. Okay. I'd say if that game came out right now from what I saw and I bought it and I played it, I would say it's just like a straight 8, which isn't bad by any means.
Based on what you've seen so far. I got you.
Yeah, but that it was somebody with a cell phone. I think it was about 5 minutes long, maybe a little more than that. And it started with the Thor, and I actually previously had heard a very detailed description. So are you familiar with the Easy Allies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was Brandon Jones was giving his impressions. I could be wrong. And he broke down the trailer with a lot of detail, and pretty much what I saw sounded exactly like what he described. So it clearly was that trailer that they showed behind closed doors during E3. So it started with Thor, and then I think it went to Iron Man, and then I think Hulk. So yeah, I mean, it didn't look bad, but there just wasn't anything really special about it. I mean, there was a lot going on the screen with like explosions and things. There was a lot of good effects and a lot of things happening, but I couldn't really get in. I didn't feel like there was anything special about it. So I don't know.
And this is Crystal Dynamics doing this, right?
Yeah. I do want to specifically the Thor part. Thor seems kind of meh. Like he's the god of thunder, right? So
he's the god of meh.
Yeah, he's like if he's hitting a normal soldier dude with a hammer, they should be taken out in one at the most 2 hits, right? And he's just like whacking at these dudes 3, 4, 5 times. Like that's not realistic within the comic book sort of world. So that kind of was like weird because like I get it's a video game and you can't, I guess, just one hit everything. But
why not?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
let them come at you and then just keep throwing more enemies at them at that point.
Yeah,
you know? Like make it bigger waves of enemies or something.
Well, maybe they're not showing us some type of story or plot in the beginning where they show you why some of these superheroes might be weakened. And you never know. Like, they have their powers, but they're not at full strength. You never know. How do you make a superhero game without weakening the superheroes?
Or the soldiers are somehow souped up.
Yeah,
ramped up.
something like that. They might explain it. They do that in a lot of games. They'll explain it in the beginning, like, hey, you're not as strong as you think you are, or they're stronger than you are used to.
I really think it's just going to be an instance of this is a video game and we can't just let you beat everything in one hit.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to be.
Could be. And I
could be wrong.
I wasn't, I don't know, overwhelmingly excited by the E3 showing of Avengers. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It was
They
fine.
didn't show a lot.
Right. It was all like a cinematic trailer stuff.
Yeah.
So it was fine, but it's certainly like if you were to ask me, hey, what are some of the games coming out in the next year or two, even beyond this fall, that one probably wouldn't come to my mind unless you reminded me of it. There's other ones that I'm more excited about. So
there's potential there for a very good story because it's obviously there's a lot of good comic book stories, and I mean the movies, at 15-year culmination, and Endgame was amazing. So there's obviously a lot that they can do, and they said that they're not pulling from the comics; they're kind of doing their own thing. So I guess we'll see where they go with that. But.
Oh, by the way, Marvel just had a bunch of San Diego Comic-Con announcements for their movies. They are going to do a Black Widow movie, which happens after the events of Civil War. So it'll be kind of a prequel to where we are now.
Yep.
They also did announce Thor 4, and it's going to be directed by the same guy who did Ragnarok, which is awesome because he did an amazing job. And Natalie Portman's back, and they're saying she's going to be a female Thor, which is interesting.
Oh, wait, so they actually did say she's coming back?
She's definitely back. She was on the stage and holding up the Thor hammer and stuff, and I'm pretty sure she's going to somehow be imbued with Thor-like powers and be the female Thor.
That's interesting because there actually is in the comic books. There is a female Thor that takes up the hammer,
right? Because something happens to Thor. So we'll see what happens there. And then they announced a whole bunch of other ones, everything that you would normally expect, like Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be made. Doctor Strange 2, which they have a title for. It's called like something. Now I'm totally forgetting what it was. And something the multiverse. And the great confusing multiverse or something. It's some kind of.
We're going to actually do that finally?
That's what it's called. Yeah, and it's the bad guy is this nightmare guy. It's all green. But then they had some pretty exciting. Oh, and the Eternals. They'll of course do the Eternals, and there's a few others they announced. But they also officially announced that Fantastic Four is in the works.
So the first Fox transfer.
Yep, and X-Men. So both of those are in the works. So pretty exciting stuff that Marvel's actually moving forward with. Because right now I'm very much in Marvel mode. Because we're playing a lot of Ultimate Alliance 3, and I plan on continuing to play it with my sons. We're doing couch co-op and really enjoying that one. By the way, Derek, if you get to the point where you're kind of bored playing solo, just invite me to a game if you see me on there. I'll play Ultimate Alliance 3 online. It's pretty fun. It's really fun. So this game, it is very arcadey with a few little RPG flavors sprinkled in. You've got moves that you can upgrade, but it's very basic. There's a kind of a skill, not even a skill tree. It's a stat increase tree where you can choose, I want to increase my whole team's strength or defense or resistance or special moves and things like that. So, but it's a very basic stat increase tree. So over time, you'll get money and other little items that you can use to upgrade that. You can upgrade character abilities. You'll unlock abilities at certain levels. You can have 4 hotkeys at a time for different moves that you'll unlock as you level up. And then, there's 3 basic orbs that you collect. There's your health, your energy, which is what you use to do your special moves. And then I believe, what's the other one? I believe it powers up your ultra move, whatever it's called, your extreme attack. So it's got those light RPG flavorings, but it really feels to me more like the old school couch co-op arcade games that I loved growing up. And it plays really well. I think the combat works great. As far as the Switch goes, I think the art style they chose, kind of that cel-shaded look, plays really well into the Switch because it doesn't require a lot of the system. So when you have a screen full of enemies, as well as multiple people playing and controlling all at once, we haven't had any performance issues playing it docked on the big screen, all 3 of us playing at the same time, screen full of enemies and explosions. It's run really well for us. So that is good news. I know games like this can concern people when it comes to the Switch. Will it have
No,
slowdown?
it runs good and it looks good.
Looks nice. Yeah, I like the art style a lot.
It's comic booky, and again, it makes it so the system doesn't have to run something visually intense.
Exactly.
Makes me excited for Borderlands 3 because I have a feeling that game's going to look amazing.
I think it is too. I think that one's going to look great. They of course set up a very familiar storyline in terms of, so you start out with, this is, I guess, mild spoilers that tell you that you start out with the Guardians of the Galaxy team. That's how it begins, and certain events happen, and they're investigating it / looting this scenario that happens, because that's what they do. And then, of course, they end up teaming up with other superheroes that come into the mix, and then Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. get involved, and a whole bunch of other superheroes jump in because you realize the threat is much bigger than you thought. And it's very familiar to some of the recent movies we've seen with the Avengers involving Thanos and Infinity Stones and things like that. So, but it's not the same storyline as the movies. It's just a similar, this is what he's trying to do, and we're going to try to stop him from doing that. What's cool, though, is it incorporates what I think is a very fun Marvel story. It feels like a comic book, one take on a comic book storyline. And then it gives me that same rush that I have when I'm playing like the Lego Marvel games, where you unlock so many characters and you unlock more characters and unlock more characters. That's what I loved about the Lego Marvel games. It's just the bad part was actually playing it was not that fun. This is fun to play. Every character is really fun. They have their own special move sets. Some of them are very similar, right? There's lots of different Spider-Man type characters, and they all control pretty similarly, but their special moves are a little different. One of them, if you hit them with this web attack, it'll tie them up, and then they're stuck. One of them, it'll stun them with electricity, and so on and so forth. You know, one is a little more stealthy, and one's a little more uses strength and things like that. So they did a really good job, I think, of giving you these waves of characters, and then encouraging you to just go try them all out. Some of them are very recognizable in the superstar Avenger characters that we've seen on the big screen. Some of them I had never heard before. Like, I don't know who Crystal is. She's got this big old dog who can teleport.
I think she's an Eternal. I could be wrong, though.
It could be. So she's got this dog partner he's a big, giant, bulldog-looking dude, and he can teleport. And so anyway, they introduced some new ones, too. But then as they introduced characters, we just ran into Daredevil for the first time, and his little intro sequence was awesome. So I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I think it takes that feeling you get from playing a Lego Marvel game, where they open up the entire catalog of characters and let you just go play, but it actually infuses it into a fun game that's not just trying to be silly for little kids like Lego is. It's actually got a somewhat, comic book / serious story with a lot of like funny moments and silly things in there that you'd expect, but it's also not meant to be a joke. It's not meant to just be for little kids. It's meant to be a cool, kind of like a cool Saturday morning series. I'm really enjoying it. So I like the vibe that they've struck with the story and with the characters, like Derek was saying, and I find it to be really fun to play. And my boys and I love to switch between characters and try to level them up and see what moves they can do. So I'm having a lot of fun with it so far.
So that's
just from today.
Not different costumes. You're unlocking full characters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's like 30 characters or something you eventually can unlock.
There's a lot. Yeah.
30, 32.
Yep.
And then there's going to be some free characters later. And then there's the expansion pass for $20, which gives you 3 more stories and more characters.
So using Spider-Man as an example, because he's obviously the best superhero. I can't.
No, but okay.
Shush, you know nothing. You're an old man. So obviously in the history of Spider-Man, he's had multiple costumes. So he just wears that one costume. You can't swap out.
I don't know.
I think you unlock costumes.
Yeah, I don't know about costumes, but there are.
I think they should. I think that would be a great idea, a great addition to be like, hey, as you play through this game, you can unlock more costumes for all these characters. Think about how many unlockables you can have for that.
Well, they've been around for how many decades, these characters? There's all different.
But you've got like 32. So let's say you have 2 costumes per character. That's 64 costumes right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a ton of stuff. And that gives players the desire, for some, not all, desire to maybe play more, just to unlock more things. Like that gives them more motivation.
I mean, the Spider-Man game on PS4 was a great example of how
Oh yeah.
Just releasing a couple new costumes from a new version of the movie, like the new Far From Home costume that he gets. I think there's 2 of them actually that are new.
Yeah.
And so that was cool to see those added into the Spider-Man game. I actually did fire that up just to see what those looked like in game. That was cool.
Oh, by the way, the voice actor for Spider-Man in this game is the same one from the Spider-Man game that
Nice.
Ken was just talking about from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Cool.
The voice acting has been good. There's been some really funny little quips already. They are, I think, trying to, for the most part, emulate their big screen characters. So like the guy
Rocket
who did,
Raccoon sounds
Yeah,
almost
he's-
exactly like. And I
Brad-
think is
Bradley
that
Cooper.
our boy?
Cooper, yeah.
Is that the main voice actor? Not Troy Baker. Who's the other one? The big one.
oh, Nolan North.
I think Nolan North does Rocket Raccoon.
He might.
Actually,
He's
would
got the
like to
most
look it up.
lines. He's got the most lines at the beginning
Plus,
of the game.
it sounds like him.
Yeah, it definitely could be him.
I'm gonna check.
But they did a good job. I mean, the characters all are very interesting. The quips are really funny. The guy who does Tony Stark is certainly trying to channel Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Tony Stark. But there's nothing wrong with that. They do a good job with it.
Yeah.
So I like that. But I'm not that far into it. We just finished. Derek talked about how there's an opening section, and then all of a sudden it kind of opens up and a whole bunch of characters join your party. So we played through a few boss battles after that, and we are now in a new location where, like I said, we just met Daredevil. So that's the area of the game that we're in, and we're chasing down the Kingpin. So it's really cool. There's already been a couple of surprises. Like I didn't really dig in before this game came out to see what's the full roster. So some of you knew this already. But, you know, seeing a character like Luke Cage get a cool intro and play a pretty big role right there in the first level was cool. So I'm digging it. I'm really, really enjoying that game a lot. I would think if you've got folks to play with, or if you're a Marvel fan, I think it is worth the $60. But to Daniel's point earlier, you're probably going to see a discount on this one, at least at, you know, Thanksgiving time as we get ready for holiday stuff.
Yeah, it's Nolan North does the voice acting for Rocket Raccoon and Deadpool.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Which makes sense because I knew he did Deadpool like in the Deadpool games.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Rocket Raccoon sounds really good, like really good. But then as I kept listening, I'm like, that sounds like Nolan North. Fair enough.
Yeah, that dude is really good. He does so many great characters. Nolan North is fantastic.
Laura Bailey does some voice acting, so they got some big name voice actors for games.
Those 3 are around like a lot, to the point where their voices become recognizable, even with like them trying to do that specific character.
It's true.
You know,
That is true.
they're good at what they do. So,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying it. I think that's a game that my kids and I will keep playing for the summer. And then when my other 2 boys come back, we'll probably start a new game because they'll want to play it through again. And by the way, I got another off-brand Pro controller when I bought my son his Switch. My oldest son has a Switch now. And they were selling it with some sort of off-brand Pro controller, which is really nice. It's kind of shaped a little bit like the PS4 controller. It's got a little bit more of that feel to it. But it's good. And it actually has a real D-pad as well, which is nice. So now we've got 2 Pro controllers. So we were playing with that, and then we played with one of my sons likes the 2 nunchucks in the holder. I forget what it's called now. You know what I'm talking about, though, when you're playing them as a controller.
the Joy-Cons?
Yeah, when you put the Joy-Cons into the
the
grip. I guess they call it the grip.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been fun to play that game. I'm really having a good time with it. So I highly recommend it. And it's a great summer game. It's a great summer arcade. Like Derek said, you don't have to think really hard. They have 2 modes right at the beginning, kind of what looks to be a normal mode or an easy mode. And my kids, of course, selected easy mode right away. And so we're not having any problems.
I think so far this year, and it's just starting to happen now for me, but I think the Switch has got the best like first party stuff, like the best exclusives. Like we're talking about Ultimate Alliance. We talked about Mario Maker 2 last week. Next week I'm going to be talking about Fire Emblem.
Yep. Astral Chain a few weeks after that.
Yeah. So when you look at the Switch, and then we got Link's Awakening, it's loaded this year with at least, I want to say 5 or 6 games, and I'm like day one. Which last year I know I didn't buy anything on the Switch. I didn't.
Well, and that's not even to mention the stuff that wasn't necessarily up my alley, but people really liked. Like they loved Yoshi, the new Yoshi game. That one came out on the Switch.
I actually want to
well.
get it. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm waiting for
the
it
demo.
to
Is
drop.
really fun and charming and really good looking. It's a great looking game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
This is a strong year, in my opinion, for the
I think
Switch.
so too. Yeah, and which is weird because this is not a year with Zelda or Mario or Metroid for that matter. Of course,
You got Link's Awakening, but that's it.
That's
Luigi's Mansion 3 has a official date, October
right.
31st.
Yep, coming out on Halloween, which is
That was the other game I was thinking about, but I didn't know the name. I know there's like 5 or 6 that I want day one.
Yep, that's a no-brainer for the release date, of course, the October 31st release date. But yeah, they pretty much have given us at least one major thing to be excited about every month for the rest of this year. I guess December being the only exception, unless they announce something that we don't know about. But they have, I believe, did they release anything in May? Oh,
That might have been Yoshi. I think Yoshi was May.
Might have been April. It's either April or May. But they're going to have about a 6, maybe 7 straight months of one major exclusive title that no one else has that is at the very least a 7 or 7.5 or 8 out of 10 type of a game. Yeah. So it starts with Yoshi and it goes through Mario Maker. And now, of course, this July is a pretty heavy month for them with Ultimate Alliance and Fire Emblem, Astral Chain. And then they'll have...
November's the Pokemon game.
Yep, November's Pokemon. Yep. So they'll have a major exclusive that either is going to be a fan favorite and critical favorite or is going to just sell like crazy, like the Pokemon games. Whether or not we love those necessarily, those are going to sell Switches like crazy. So
I'm buying Pokemon, so I have plenty to say in November.
Sword and Shield looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. So, all right. Well, by the way, I did want to mention, since I've also been living that bachelor, not bachelor. I've been living a single parent lifestyle. It's not really been a bachelor lifestyle.
Kind of naughty thing you've been doing, Tim.
But yeah, I've also been able to pick and choose whatever I want to watch without having to kind of compromise with, all right, we'll watch your show tonight. I'll watch whatever I want. So I finished up Stranger Things season 3. Guys, that show is amazing.
Can we talk about that for a good 10 minutes?
No.
We could. Actually, we could do a whole spoiler cast on that. Dude, that show...
I haven't watched it.
I loved season 1. I thought season 2 was also really good. I don't know if I loved it as much, but I did like it a lot. Yeah. I thought season 3 was even better. It's gone full on monster movie / a little bit of alien invasion vibe to it at times too. Like it's really good.
So my wife and I finished. So that came out. What was
July 4th.
On the 4th, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So we finished it by Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
So super fast, and I posted in the group like it was great, and like people liked the comment, whatever, but no one was really saying anything. So I'm like, does nobody in this group really like Stranger Things? So
yeah,
I definitely would like to have like some sort of in-depth conversation.
I love that show. I just hadn't gotten to it yet because again, it's one that my wife started season 1 with me, and then it got kind of gross at one point. She was like, "I'm out," so I had to watch that one solo. But I watched that. I also watched 2 comedy specials that I highly recommend. I watched Aziz Ansari's new special that he just put out, and he is, I think, remarkably open and honest and hilarious. And he actually has moments where you can't tell, is he about to crack a joke? But no, he doesn't. He just gets real serious, and then he'll make it funny again. But I feel like he's gone through a very contemplative, introspective year or 2. With the sexual allegations against him from that idiot who had a bad date with him, things like that.
Yeah.
But he even talks about that. He even talks about
the allegations. About it, but like he was sort of still a little vague. Like he's like, I'm gonna be honest about this thing, but like didn't really like. I don't know. Like I felt like what he said was just basically like that sucked.
Well, it was more. It was also like, hey, I've learned a lot from it. And
that's good. Yeah,
it's made me. It's made me think like, is there something I can do a little better? With this kind of stuff. And of course he's got a girlfriend now who's a little more of a serious relationship, I think, than that. But so I highly recommend Aziz Ansari's special. It's really funny. He's got some great bits and it's surprisingly thoughtful. So I liked that one a lot. And then I just finished it up late last night. I watched Adam Sandler's special called 100% Fresh.
Okay.
And so in general, I like Adam Sandler. I think he's very charming and likable, and even in his movies that are considered bad movies, I still like him. Like I like Adam Sandler. I really liked him back in the day in his older movies, the Happy Gilmore and the Billy Madison and the Wedding Singer. I love that movie, things like that.
Yeah.
But to see him come out and do a special which was filmed in multiple different venues, some of them really small, intimate venues, and some of them these big arenas. And then, of course, Adam Sandler is a very talented musician as well. So a lot of it is him singing or doing a silly little dance while he sings. And sometimes it's just like a little 3-sentence song it's really just a joke. And then, of course, the final line is the punchline. And him and one other guy on the keyboards kind of running the sound. And then he'll just stop and do some stand-up, and then he'll go back into music. And the way it's cut and edited is really creative. They'll cut from the perspective of this large, like huge arena that he's filled up, of course, or like a little comedy club. And it's just cuts between songs and sets like that. I highly recommend that as well. Really, really good laughs in that one. And it just reminded me how much, even though I think he's in some garbage movies, I think Adam Sandler overall is really charming and fun to watch perform. He's very funny. So, and by the way, towards the end, he does a really, I thought it was really moving tribute to Chris Farley. Which was on YouTube. Everyone was talking about that when it came out. But
that made me interested in wanting to watch it. I haven't, but I thought that was pretty nice.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend both of those, and of course Stranger Things. So it's been kind of fun to be able to catch up on a few things that I threw into the old Netflix queue, but I've had to wait. Because important things like MasterChef are on.
Oh, so you watched that too?
Yes.
All right. So the next episode, Derek, prepare, is going to be a MasterChef / Stranger Things spoilercast.
All right, I will definitely be sick next week.
We're going to talk about our favorite judges through the years of MasterChef. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I don't understand. It's got the blind woman that won.
She's not blind. That's a lie.
Right?
No,
it's not real. It can't be.
She's not blind. She's faking it. She's faking it. I'm calling it right now. She's faking it.
The shenanigans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Derek and Daniel, thanks for taking time to chat. We will, if you're interested, if you play Mario Maker 2, I actually thought it'd be cool if everyone in our group and in our listening community who wants to be a part of this, feel free in the comments for this episode to drop your Mario Maker ID. That way we can just follow all the levels that each other are making instead of dropping each course ID, which I guess you could do that too.
Or someone had mentioned, I think maybe like a doc of some sort. We can just throw our thing, stuff in there. So
because I want to try what people are making. I want to get steal some ideas, of course, but also it's really the only way to make sure someone out there plays my level. I got some guy from Japan to play my level, and I called it Hard Hats, and he left a comment where he just wrote out Hard Hats.
Sure. Very good English. Very good.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Did I say something? Did I say something weird in Japanese that I'm not aware of? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, something sexual.
Awesome.
That Derek is super into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you guys for listening. Derek and Daniel, we'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Peace and love.
See you.
Tight pants.
Now I can go back to chewing my gum.
Who is your daddy?
I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?